Hello, I'm E. E. King. Welcome to Long Lost Friends.
And I'm Andrea Goyan.
Today, we are delighted to once again be talking to the amazing Cindy O'Quinn. She is a horror-loving, photo-taking writer, Bram Stoker Award-winning author, and nominated many times, including nominated for an Elgin, did I pronounce that right? Writing and Dwarf Star nominated poet. Welcome, Cindy.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me again. It's always a pleasure to be here with y'all, and
And
I'm just honored that y'all would invite me back yet again. Thank you.
We love
today we Cindy's dog is running around and very not feeling like being in front of the camera. So we're going to try my dog today. So let's see if we can get him. Oh no, stand up. Of course, they never want to help. Cody, come here. Stand up. Come here. Okay, come here. Oh, now he's being ornery too. Cody, come here. Here, there we go. Put your head up here, big boy. Good boy. Put your head up.
Oh, okay.
He's beautiful.
So this is Cody. Of course, he's only going to give you a profile look, but that's Cody. Good
That's his
boy.
good side, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's his good
what
side.
a
His other side's
beauty.
very ugly.
Oh
Yeah.
no.
Well, that's
Oh,
Cody.
what a
Kodiak.
sweetie.
He's a sweetie pie. He's a very sweet, gentle dog.
Yeah, that's what he
Okay.
wants you to believe. I've seen
Except he
it in
is, he
action.
does eat toys, and that's not a good thing. So
So sweet and gentle. He's definitely sweet
he is gentle
He
and
is,
sweet.
and
he's
He
a
handsome.
is.
sweetheart.
He's laying down now. He's young. He's always been this way since we got him when he was 4 months old. He's always just been the chillest dog ever.
Wow.
So, you good
What
boy.
So
So,
today we're going to be talking about a couple of things. First is Cindy's upcoming anthology. I guess it's an anthology. That's what it's called.
correct? Hmm.
Called Sinister Societies. I have the honor of reading it before it's out there. So I just want to say it's a really fascinating collection of stories and writers that are all very, very different. Uh, so Cindy, I loved your piece, Cult of the Last Resistance. It's definitely horror, and there is warning, there's some violence that will surprise you probably, but it's written with your unique, warm, wonderful voice, told through a very relatable character, and it talks about the foster system, which is a horror all its own. It talks about religious cults and that there's that always that sense, the dream haunting, psychological, what's real, and you keep peeling back layers, and every time you peel it back there's a new question. And then uh I don't know, is it cheating to say it has a happy ending, but it also there are questions left in your mind. And so I just love that. It was beautiful.
Well, I am thrilled to hear that you enjoyed my novella. That really is. I'm just overwhelmed with your thoughts on it, and I thank you for your willingness to read the anthology and provide a blurb, and for you to really like my novella is such an honor to me. So thank you.
so is this anthology a series of novellas?
It is 6 novellas.
Okay,
Um,
nice.
it's by Ruodon Books, owned by R.B. Wood. Reached out to each of us individually and invited us to write a 20,000 word was the minimum novella. And the theme, um, just like the title, Sinister Societies, it's like these secret little societies, across the world that sometimes are taboo to talk about these experiences. And so we each picked our own little secret, sinister society to write about. And
That's a
mine,
great.
like EE mentioned, is Cult of Least Resistance. And Yeah. So it
That's a
was,
great theme. Great theme.
yeah.
Yeah, great
And
team. And really, the stories are so different. I mean, that's usually the case with themed
right.
anthologies, but
Yeah.
really everywhere this different stylistically. Mercedes Yardley did A Secret Witches of Paradise, which is just, it's an almost haunting fable that is really disturbing and interesting, raises so many questions, doesn't give you any answers. I mean, its resolution also leaves you kind of like, so is this a good thing or a bad thing? Which
Right.
I'm hoping that that is
Yeah.
enticing without giving anything away. Uh,
No.
and
Um,
then there's Mike Burke did one, Vengeful Spirits, which is very, it's kind of a noir occult. And it's also, you know, smoke rising out of grimoires, kind of spookiness, oh, I love that. I like grimoires in general.
Good.
And let me see. I know that oh, I'm sorry, I'm just looking at my notes here, which are a little bit scattered because there was a really interesting one about strikes, but I'm hold on.
that Tom Deedy or Eric Nunley, and then
Yeah,
Sarah Reed.
right. I think it was uh I think that was a Tom that I have my notes, like I say, and not
Yeah.
in the best of order here. So, but that was so you have a horror and a strikes, and there's also a secret society uh, about a rat king.
Yeah.
So there it goes all over from basically quite realistic. I think yours is pretty realistic, unfortunately,
Yeah.
in many ways. And I mean, there have been all these cults that end up not being so great. Probably, I guess you can't have a good cult, can you?
I don't think so.
Oh, I think so.
You start out thinking this is what it all should be about, and hopefully, your eyes will open and you realize no one should have that much control over anyone.
Yeah, and one nice thing is, well, it's told through the eyes of a young girl, and so and flashbacks and all things, but she doesn't, you know, if you're brought up that way, you don't realize this isn't how the world is. It's not. So you are older and look back and you say, oh, you know, that wasn't the way it was supposed to be. That's
Right.
not the truth or whatever.
And when you're born into that and you go from that into the foster care system, can sometimes be quite the nightmare, and as well. There's good foster parents out there, and I'm so glad there are. Tim and I did that for a little bit. We provided respite foster care for foster parents who needed a break, or they had to go out for surgery and needed a few weeks off. We did that um, before we had Elijah and Zach. We did that for a while, which was very hard because I love children and wanted to keep them all, but I felt like it was important for us to give back and provide a safe place for as many kids as we could, even if
Wow.
it was just for a week or two.
And what were their ages? Were they
Ranged from 8 months up to 12 years old, I think was the oldest.
wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's incredible. Now, did you know the foster parents that you were respiting for?
Yeah, would meet the foster parents, unless, of course, it was like they were preparing a home with a relative, like the mom or dad couldn't take care of the child, and they had to help the grandparents get ready to welcome the child into their home, and they would need a few weeks to get things set up for them. Um, we would take them in and look after them until they had their home all ready for their forever home. And like I say, it ranged from a week to 3 weeks, but we provided a safe place for them.
Wow. Yeah,
Yeah.
that must have been hard for you to give them up and
It was hard, but also at the same time very rewarding. Yeah.
yeah, 8 months. Wow.
So hard for the kids. God,
Yes.
Yeah. Even with great people, it would
just
be really
yeah.
so hard for the kids.
Right.
And unfortunately, as everybody knows, not every foster parent has the best motives.
And like with Charlie in my novella, she runs into a few of those foster homes that are quite hellish. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm. So,
So,
Cindy, would you say the name of the novella again?
It is called Sinister Societies, link below.
Yes.
And it's by Ruodon Books, and that is owned and operated by publisher R.B. Wood, who is also a horror writer, a very, very talented horror writer himself.
so
Wonderful.
yeah, that's great. So we will look forward to, well, that coming out, but maybe this will already be out when that is out. So
Right.
who knows?
So the link will always be below.
Link will be
Okay.
below. Time is relative, I've been told.
Yeah,
There you go.
it's true.
But it was quite the honor to be invited. And like I say, Tom Deedy, Eric Nunley, Sarah Reed, Mercedes Yardley, Michael Burke. Um, it was my pleasure, my privilege to be among that group of writers. So
Well, it's a wonderful collection, and like I say, it goes all over in terms of like some of the stories, are nostalgic, noir horror, good guys after the Nazis, very clear cut, and then others are just strange fantasy stories. So there's definitely something for everybody in this collection.
I have a
absolutely.
question, Cindy. When you were invited to write for this specifically, how long were you given to send in your completed manuscripts?
Um, I think it started out being, it seems like it was like 4 to 6 months. I could be off on that a little bit. Um, but then, everybody everybody has so much going on that got extended several times. So there was plenty of time to go back again and again and review what you've written and make any kind of changes that you wanted to make um, throughout that process. Because we had like this
Yeah.
shared folder, and if you felt like maybe that's not something that should be there, or maybe I should add this, while everybody was finishing up, I could still go back in and make these changes to mine. Yeah. So that helped a lot.
Yeah, that's a good amount of time because it's a novella.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not a short
Right.
story, so
Right.
yeah, you
Yeah.
need
for sure.
20,000, is that what you said?
Yeah. Mine is right at 21,000, I believe. Yeah. So I had mine finished, I do believe, um, like around November. And but like I say, I had several more months past that to keep tinkering with it. And I really am thankful that I did have that extra time, as everybody else finished up to go back. Because no matter how many times you read something, you're always going to find a mistake or find something you want to change. So I was glad it worked out that way.
Isn't
Did you,
that the truth?
did you
I mean, I
get
was just talking.
editorial? Oh, sorry, go on.
I was just gonna say, I was just talking, to another writer recently, how God help us, nothing is ever finished.
That's the
I
way I
mean,
feel.
it's
Yeah.
finished when it's published for the time being, but I mean, you could go back, like you said, forever and keep
Yes,
tinkering and changing, and there's no perfect. And
exactly.
there's no perfect, and it is perfect as it is, right?
Oh, that's great. I heard a story about I think it was Monet, I could be wrong, but being at some grand opening for, some big exhibit of his, and they couldn't find him, and they went and he was like on a thing touching up some of the paints, and they were dragging, and they were like, no, you can't touch it, it's worth millions. It's like, but it's mine.
Got it.
Yeah,
So I guess that's true of all writers, probably, and artists. It's never done.
exactly. Yeah,
And everybody is filled with self-doubt.
absolutely.
Right. And people, we're never done either, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
We're always growing and changing, aren't we? We're
right.
always evolving. Yeah.
So I
I
Yeah.
guess
love
it
that.
makes sense that everything we have is the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like you think about, I look back on my life a good bit. I'm 58 now, and I look back to the person I was as a teenager, the person I was in my 20s or in my 30s, and the person I am now at 58. Um, having gone through, life as everyone has, the ups and downs. I like where I'm at right now. I am happy at 58, and I'm embracing life, and I'm embracing. It's taken me years to embrace my voice, and I'm finally at that point where, yes, I will own me finally, and my accent, and where I've come from, and
Nice.
what I've been through, and how I've grown as a person, and yeah, finally ready to share that with the world.
And I think I mean, as you say that, that's sort of interesting. We're all about the same age. And I think younger women right now, anyway, the younger women I have the privilege of knowing are a little more comfortable being out there and showing their voices. And I think
Right?
we're sort of between our parents' generation, which definitely was very restricted, and this
Exactly.
younger generation. And it is hard to own your voice. I've had a hard time too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's really nice because you are, you're being so incredibly successful.
Mhm.
And it's building upon itself as it should. And that's beautiful to see.
Thank
So,
you.
It
yeah,
is.
yeah,
I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
yeah. Well, it couldn't happen to a nicer person. So,
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I was
that
just going to say the same thing, Elizabeth. It's just so nice when someone is being embraced with such success, but is also so generous. You're such a generous spirit, and that's lovely. We love talking to you because you're just delightful.
Well, I feel the same way about y'all. I always feel so welcome whenever y'all have me on, and y'all are very gifted at that, making people feel
Thank you.
welcome, and y'all are just wonderful.
Thank
I,
you.
I don't know if everybody would say that, but
Yeah,
Oh, yes,
I
that's
bet
true.
they would.
we've
Oh.
Yeah,
had a
a few
few.
people. They deserve it.
A
Oh, me.
few awkward moments.
Yeah.
Oh. But, I've in this small horror community, um, there's been people that have come into my life and helped me to help to encourage me to own, you know, they tell me I have this unique voice, to own it, not hide it, you know.
Oh,
Don't hide yourself away on that homestead that like you did for all of those years, to let the world have a peek inside of your mind and see what goes on and hear some of your stories. Yeah, so that's what I'm focusing on. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, you really have because you lived for like 10 years.
8 years on the homestead, and it was like, it was very, very isolated. So, yeah, we made the move last summer from northern Maine, um, to West Virginia, back to West Virginia, to the town where I actually grew up in. I grew up on the outskirts, but to be back among my Appalachian mountains, and yeah, it was a wonderful thing to come home again and be where I can, not only write about what I know, what I've experienced, but there's still a few of those original storytellers around that I can go. One in particular, which is my 95-year-old cousin, Roscoe, and he's still a wonderful storyteller. And it's such an honor to be able to, you know, he still has all of his faculties about him, and to sit on the couch and listen to him tell stories from 75, 80, 90 years ago, from back whenever he was a child, it means a lot to be close enough to be around those people like that again.
Do you
Yeah.
ever record? Do you make recordings ever?
No, I haven't, but maybe next time I'll ask him if I can.
But because I was
I
thinking,
try to, yeah, I try to remember everything, that he tells me, because he lived on the same mountain where my mother and her sister ended up spending a lot of their formative years. They ended up with their grandparents, helped raise two of the children, my mother and her sister. And he told me a lot of stories about my mother that I never knew. And that has been such a gift to me. Yeah. Yeah.
wow. But yeah, I was just thinking, like what was that? During during the Depression when they had that storytelling project where
They still do. They still do.
Yeah.
And I can't think of the name right now either. I've heard it on NPR before, but that
Um,
story,
like
and people go in
is
and record stories and then
mhm.
yeah, it's still going. I just don't know where.
And they also have one, it's either in Kentucky or Tennessee. Each year they have, I don't know if it lasts a week or just a weekend, but I would love to be able to go to that one year and hear some good old-fashioned storytelling. Yeah.
actually my friend Mariana Williams, who we had on the show, uh, she does storytelling in Long Beach, and but it's always it's like I don't know if I'm allowed to say it's like a certain podcast that does that. It's 5 minute true tales told
Well,
before.
yeah, I mean, there's tons of them. There's like, I mean, I'm going to say it. There's Moth. There's all the
Okay.
story times here in LA. There's a ton of people who do storytelling. They do 5 minute. You're right. It's about 5 minutes, and it's usually memoir. It's usually real life stories, and it's fabulous. You get some really wonderful ones, and some that are new and need some more work, but they get up and experiment and get feedback, and
But
it's really
yeah,
fun.
but it would be great to have those, well, all the different accents, like old old people with their different accents and their past, because the world, I mean, in our lifetimes it's changed so much. But
Right.
if you have somebody who's, it's, I mean, the changes are inconceivable almost, that the world could
Exactly.
have changed that much.
And
Yeah.
the one you were mentioning originally, Evie, is the one that you could take him into a booth and record his story wherever. And I don't know, they show up in different places, but they have those booths, and then they record it, and it's like put into some. Oh God, I wish I remembered better. Maybe we'll figure it out and put a link below if we can figure it out. But it's they record them, and then they are there for posterity. They're in like a museum somewhere of audio recordings.
I love that idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very cool. If the world doesn't destroy itself first, there'll probably be ones where you have like a um hologram, you walk in and it'll be
Yeah.
like a person actually there.
But you're right, it would be nice to have all the different dialects and things because we are becoming more homogenized and
Exactly.
losing culture, losing all of that. So,
Yeah.
So embracing your voice. But
yeah.
I do know I mean, having a Southern accent is like, I imagine at a certain point it could have been like something that wasn't comfortable.
Yes. Yeah. And that kind of held me back a little bit, and maybe that's why I was so reclusive and so hesitant to do readings, to go to conventions and everything. But um, I think I'm coming out of that shy stage and embracing who I am, because there's no change in me now, as far as I couldn't scrub this away if I tried. So might as well embrace it.
Yeah, well, the world is embracing it, so that's nice to
Yes.
see.
Well, Thank you.
Yes.
So, shall we go on to illegal feast or
I would love that
I
because
will.
I had the honor of having an early read of an illegal feast and providing a blurb for it. And it's such an extraordinary collection. I mean, from the way it came about, Linda Addison, one of your co-writers, reached out to me via email to tell me a little bit about an illegal feast and how it came to be. And she told me that our book was born out of prompts sent to us by E.E. King. Our short responses to each prompt were weaved together by E.E. and became short or long poems. Our weaver stretches and interlaces lines from each of us to create the poems in an illegal feast. And that, her email, that blew me away. And it's like, oh, I have to read this to see what y'all have created. And the way, you don't know who wrote what, but because you know, they're so tightly woven together and fit so well that I tell you, it's a collection that grabs you, holds you, embraces you, and doesn't let go and stays with you. And so whenever I got to the end, I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel like I need to go back and read more because it felt like y'all had a magical connection when y'all worked together and wrote this wrote this collection. And what I came up with was, whenever I wrote my blurb, I'm like, oh my goodness, what a challenge for me to try to convey what reading this collection meant and felt like, how it touched me. But a little bit of what I wrote was, like I mentioned, with the introduction and given the backstory of that, that was extraordinary how this was born. And I felt like it was divided into the three parts. Part one, parts of the truest love. It shows love in so many different forms, wonders, joy, and hardships that it creates. And then another part where it's deep somewhere other than here, the feminine power, the impatience, the hope, ancestors, and the never ending is what I pulled away. And three, the portrait of existence, self and mystery and mantras in such an unsettling place. Um, they're laced together with the purest type of magic. And that magic is connection. And I could feel that among y'all. So it was truly my honor to read and provide a blurb for this, And I thank you.
Thank you. And it's been such an interesting and wonderful experience. I mean, Elizabeth gathered it all together. And when she first, I was like, whatever, I'll try it. No idea what we were getting into. But the collection of women that came together have become so important in my life. And um, yeah, it's magical because we all come from different places. We're all have different experiences. Like you were saying when we interviewed you before about your other collection, just continue if death ensues. That magical blend of voices from different places. And in this case, Elizabeth's ability to take totally disjointed, strange things that we come up with and find a thread to weave them together and come up with something each time. And it's like we get to open a little gift each time. Maybe she feels the same way when we send her the prompts, but we go, what's she going to do? And then we read it, and it's like opening a Christmas present every time we get the new poem. So thank you,
yeah.
Elizabeth, for including me in this wonderful journey. It's just amazing.
Thank you. Well, it's magic because also I've watched, I mean, Linda obviously is a master poet, but Andrea wasn't really a poet. I don't think I don't know, Elizabeth and Consuelo, it was like finding their inner poets over this period. We haven't written another book, actually, and now we are finishing a third with one more additional woman named Safi. She's Egyptian. So she adds, because we are African American, Chinese American, Latin American, Irish American, Jewish American, and Egyptian American. And not all, like, so Safi grew up in Cairo, so there's, we didn't all grow up all the time in the States, but there's all these different cultures, and we all have different areas of knowledge too. So sometimes I'm getting a prompt and looking up, especially from Elizabeth Wong, if you're listening. What is this? Or and now Safi too. She'll find things, and I'm like, okay, I don't know what this is.
Okay.
And it was this last poem he wrote. It's called "We Shall Overcome." But I just enjoyed it because Andrea kept saying, I can't wait to see how you put these together.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
that one was wild, but it came together so beautifully.
Well,
well,
it's interesting because it's more like painting than writing for me. I don't, it's not the same analytical process. It's more like I read it and it's like, oh, I like this line, and then how am I gonna make them make sense?
well,
That's in,
um,
that,
it, it was
oh,
felt like magic for this collection. I can't wait for the next two. So
okay.
congratulations. I'm glad
Thank
there's
you.
more to come.
There is more to come. And thank you so much for providing the blurb, for that,
Yes.
for
Yeah,
reading, for
And your
being,
lovely
absolutely.
support all the way through. You're
Oh,
so supportive. Thank
yeah.
you.
well, it's easy to support something that is so special, and that's what y'all have created.
Thank you. Wow,
Thank
we
you.
always just have a love fest with you.
Yeah.
And there and there will be a link below for an illegal feature as well.
Oh, yes, please buy it, support us. And when Sinister Societies, you can go between reading a Sinister Society and reading a poem. But
There you go.
yeah, some of the Sinister Society stories are just fun romps, really. They're not they're about sinister societies like Nazis and things, but they're, more like a fun romp, and the good guy's going to win.
Maybe.
With
Maybe.
Cindy stories, you're never sure who's gonna win, and then even when it good triumphs, you're still like, well, there might be something else out there. It's never such a neat tie, which I personally enjoy.
I kind of like people to come up with their own conclusions, and I've found over the years that whether it's a novel or a movie, whenever you are left with that, it could go this way, it could go that way. I like to come up with my own, you know, of how I want it to turn out. So I want everybody to think a little bit and decide for themselves, how it actually turns out.
Yeah, I agree with that completely. I mean, I really like I mean, sometimes it's fun to read a fun story that, but the ones where you're then, oh, but there's this almost like it could be a sequel, but not, but your mind does a sequel. That's the
Exactly.
quality of a good story, I think.
Yeah.
I
The
love that, Elizabeth. I love that your mind does the sequel. I love that.
Yes, I
Right.
love that too. That I like the way you phrase that. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. So thank you again for talking to us. This is always such a pleasure. I sometimes wonder if people are just going to be like, would you guys stop, saying how much you love each other? We're like, oh my gosh, I thought you were horror writers. So,
Oh my goodness. Well, thank y'all again for having me and congratulations on an illegal feast. And I look forward to the next two.
yay,
Congratulations.
And
thank you.
congratulations to you as well for
Thank
all of
you.
your work that's out.
Thank you.
Yes. So we always end with the best thing I learned this week. So I have a really good one, which is in French Polynesia, which actually I visited a few times. I was fortunate enough to lecture on some cruise ships on like island evolution. So I got to go to all these weird little islands, and saw some of these places. And it's an island nation. There's not a lot of land, but there is a lot of ocean, and they've just created the largest marine protected area on Earth. It's 5 million square kilometers of ocean, fully protected, no deep sea mining, no bottom not trolling, uh, but a space for whales and sharks. And in fact, a lot of hammerheads go migrate there at different times. So, so that's great. It's maybe a drop in the ocean, but it's a drop in the right place.
Nice. And mine is similar and different. In our world where we're all grappling with AI and how to use it ethically and what's good and what's bad and all of that, I came across, and this is, I guess it's a few years old, and only it's new to me, that in Africa, they are using AI to help assist with wildlife protection. So they can use these AI cameras and AI, I think it's even fencing. I couldn't get a clear picture of that, but it helps them identify areas that are predicted using predictive analytics where people might be, you can hear my dog crying in the background now, might be targets for people to come in and poach. There's Cody. It also has surveillance systems that help identify the difference between vehicles, animals, people. Some are even saying the difference between poachers and people who are tourists. So they're really finding that this is helping. So yay for AI. It may help us save some of the wildlife in Africa. And I'm going to go let the dog out.
Okay,
And
I have to
Cindy, you're
add
going to
one more
talk
thing
while I
too.
do that.
I
Hmm?
have to add one more thing before
Yeah.
Cindy, because you just reminded me of this thing I read, which was he created like it's a robotic, I forget what species it was, but it's an animal that looks real. It gives off heat. And it's so poachers will go target that animal and they catch the poachers. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Well, my most interesting thing just happened, and I'm all for these robotic animals saving wildlife, you know, and helping the endangered. Yeah. So thank y'all for that. Oh.
Thank
Thank
you.
you again for
And
joining us. I'm going to thank Maria Korolov for producing us and being our everything as far as putting anything together at MetaStellar or our computers, all of that. She is our helper for all of that. Amazing woman. And her brother, Alex Korolov, who does our editing for Long Lost Friends. So thank you, both of you.
Absolutely.
And if you want to support us at MetaStellar, it's our 5 year anniversary. Give us an anniversary gift. I don't know what the 5 year one is. Let's make it money. Um, all money, any donations, if you become a Patreon or buy merch, it all goes to paying writers for original fiction. Um, and if you go to our site, you can read some of that original fiction, and you can also read many reprints, and you can listen to stories being read aloud to you, as well as interviews with fascinating people like Cindy O'Quinn, for example. Uh, so thank you for joining us.
Thank
Yes.
y'all once again. It's been my pleasure, and congratulations on your collection and illegal feast. And here's to the two that follow. I look forward to them.
Thank you.
Thank you, Cindy. Thank you, everyone, for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.